This is Dan Jurgens, and if you want to have a good time, keep listening to the Krypton Report.
Jason J. Lewis, the voice of Superman on Justice League Action, and you're listening to the Krypton Report.
Hi, this is David Patrick Wilson. I played Superman, Clark Kent, in the television production of It's a Bird, It's a Plane, enjoying every minute of being right here on the Krypton Report.
Look up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane.
Welcome to the Krypton Report podcast, this special edition, because we have it, everyone. The trailer has dropped. It's so weird because we have the teaser, then the extended sneak peek teaser, but this is the first official trailer. I remember when teasers were teasers. I'm Tyler, and with me I got the crew. I got James. And I got Levi.
Hey.
And me and Levi are wearing awesome shirts while James is a putz. What the heck, man? James, like the trailer is here. Like I got my shirt on. I even got my new hat on because I'm pumped. But first, before we get into the trailer, we got a few other things to chat about.
My shirt might be right over there in the laundry.
Oh, the shirt in the laundry. I get that. I got 3 of these things, all from different places.
I got one.
So one thing, recently James and I watched Superman Returns. And something I noticed that I had not noticed before, which I'm kind of mad at myself for, and it's still bugging me, is that Brandon Routh's hair is not black. It is just dark brown. And it's still bothering me. They didn't dye his hair. But it's another reason why Brandon Routh is his own Superman and not just Chris.
Not just Chris.
I'm
glad he's not just Chris. I like him.
Not Chris
I like
2.0.
just the way he is.
Exactly. He's not Chris 2.0. Oh, I dropped my cap. So I went to this really neat. I posted the pictures, but this really neat antique mall. And every time I found anything Superman, I took a picture of it, and I found a lot more than I thought I would. But the coolest thing I found where people had framed the newspaper dailies from the 40s. And I took some pictures. You can see it on our Facebook page, but that was pretty awesome. I didn't have $50 to buy it, but it was awesome.
Yeah, I saw those, and I was like, I wasn't sure if you bought them or not, but
I wanted to.
But you just took some pictures. Yeah, they were pretty cool looking.
All right, and then I got thinking about this today. Stuff. I kind of wish Max, or now it's going to be rechristened HBO Max.
Again?
Yeah. You haven't seen that?
Is that what it was going? I was really busy today, so I only kind of got to bounce in and out of the chat, so I didn't get to read everything going down.
They even sent out I got an alert from them. It was like, the biggest twist of the summer, Max becomes HBO Max. And I'm just like, and then... So yeah, it's going to be HBO Max again. It's even the newish name, same great stories. Max becomes HBO Max, coming home soon. I kind of wish they would sell the streaming of My Adventures of Superman to Netflix for a little while. Kind of like how Paramount Plus did the new Turtles cartoon for Paramount Plus, but then sold the streaming to Netflix for a little while. Because I really like more people to watch My Adventures, like kids and stuff, to build up interest in this character.
Yeah. My Adventures is really good and going into our 3rd season.
So, but all right. So, like I've been doing, I have just a little bit because this is a impromptu episode. Some news. So, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, has wrapped filming.
It's exciting news. Exciting news. Another DC film almost in the can.
So, it's what? This month, next month, it's a year till Supergirl. Because it's 11 months between Superman and Supergirl. And for everyone listening, because I'm about to be so busy directing It's a Bird, It's a Plane, Superman, we've been recording a lot, and a lot of them's out of order. So we've already covered talking about the Peacemaker trailer. You'll find that in another episode. James sent me this beautiful photo.
Yeah, that's just a piece of artwork I found online. And
I thought it was
pretty
amazing.
pretty awesome.
There's even Super Pup, dude. The more I stare at it, the more I find.
Dude, there's a lot of versions in that picture.
Yeah, there is. All right. So Monday, we got some images and stuff from Times Square that said new trailer Wednesday. Even at the hockey rink here, DC Studios, Superman.
That's awesome.
We got a little like look up thing, like a little promo for the trailer, little reels for the trailer. We got this image of Crypto laying on top of Superman in his bed. And we got this comic tie-in called a Superman Friendship Unleashed, which as of this recording just dropped free on the app for if you have Ultra.
Uh-huh.
And then I showed my kids the Milkbone commercial that shows Crypto and Mr. Terrific and stuff. And this, and Sailor goes, "Can we buy that for our Crypto?" So the marketing is working. I'd already planned on buying it anyways. So we'll be having these dog biscuits for our dogs over the summer. So where we went to this little town, and for Mother's Day, where I will share with you, there was a comic book store that I really loved, and it closed, and it really got to me because they were selling the business, and if I could have, Janine and I would have loved to have bought the business because it was a comic book / coffee shop. And it was they had stuff there that you don't normally find in a lot of comic book stores. So it was really cool. But the nickname of the city is Star City. So all around the city, there are these little things that say Star City this, Star City that. And I sent this picture to James. And what'd you say, James?
I said you have failed your hairstyle. Might not have heard that. I heard the train cut in right there. You have failed your hairstyle.
The train didn't like you. And then did it not update? Man, what is up with this thing not working right? Anyways, I guess it doesn't have it. Well, screw me. There was 2 new images of toys released. One was like an abominable snowman looking thing that said like Fortress Creature, and one was a box of figures where it's Superman and members of the Justice Gang. Now, for the next 3 minutes, fellas, we're gonna watch the trailer and talk through it as the trailer plays, and real quick, and then we'll talk about the trailer. You guys pull it up if you can on your phone, on the screen. We'll 3, 2, 1 it, and we'll watch it at the same time.
I am working on bringing that up right now.
Also, I will say this. I am not a fan of people who make and post trailer review, like trailer reaction videos, because their actions are so big and over the top. I'm like, it all feels fake. Because if you actually watch somebody like react to a trailer, maybe there's a moment they're like, oh, but a lot of times it's just like excitement. But people who like make trailer reaction, like watching the videos, I don't know. I can't stand it. All right, you guys ready?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna say 3, 2, 1, play. So here we go. 3, 2, 1, play.
The DC Studios logo.
You see her recorder is Lord Tech.
I like this shift coming up that he does here.
Yeah.
I hear people complaining that he blinks when the can hits the back of his head. What I like about this scene is it shows that Lois takes her journalism serious. It's unbiased. Like she's acting like a reporter.
And she also seems
Absolutely.
to treat Superman as different than Clark, which I like. Even though she obviously knows.
This is my favorite part of the whole trailer. Is what he says about doing good. He just yells, people were going to die. And that's my Superman.
I love that.
I also really like that this seems like the first time she's ever, like, not interacted with Superman, but ever, like, questioned what he's done as Superman.
Yeah.
That's the vibe it gives. Like, this is the first time she's pushed back on what he's been doing.
So when I watch this in my in the scene, Sally goes, there's got to be something wrong with Martha. Where is she? Hold on, Sally. And there's Martha. There's your quick Jimmy shot, and then your quick shot of him. This is so when I watch this trailer with Jania and the kids, Jania just goes, I think that'll be the best Superman movie we've ever had. And I'm like, yeah.
I mean, I was telling you before we started recording, I was watching it on my TV with my son, and he asked to watch it 4 times. So, and he's 2.5. So they've got him hooked.
Yeah.
How many times have you watched it, James?
For the entire day, 6 times.
That was my 8th.
That was my 6th.
There is so much in this trailer.
There's quite a bit, yeah.
Every frame you could just pause. Because there's a shot in here I really like where he's talking to Lex. He's in Lex's, looks like his office, and he flips over the desk.
Yeah.
And I didn't see it the first time because it's so fast. But okay. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you first, man.
I was gonna say we'll just start from the beginning here. So the trailer actually dropped at 11:50. So it actually dropped like 10 minutes earlier than we were told it was going to drop. And I was in a training.
You sent it to me early. I was like, oh, okay.
So I was in a training at work and I looked down, I saw the alert. So I took my phone and I hit play, and when we're doing the online trainings, like the mics are already muted. So I turned down the volume on the trainer and I hit play on my phone, and I set my phone right by my work computer. So I'm like, I sit back a little like this. So I'm watching.
Like he was looking more intently during this meeting for about 3 minutes.
So I was like, I am not missing this. I was like, I already planned on, like, when the training was over, because the training ended at noon, to like just show up to my next meeting like 3 minutes late. So, but I watched it and I was like, huh, wow. And I was like, I guess my meeting. And then I was like, after my meeting, I was like, all right, let's watch it again. And let's watch it again. Yeah, I think I've watched it like 8 times, maybe 9. I don't know, a lot. It's just, I like it. I want more.
And he doesn't blink at all when he gets hit. It's just the hair on the. It's just the front of the hair on the front of his head moves a little bit.
People, okay. What's annoying me are people who are pulling apart like everything and be like, "Oh, look at this! Look at this!" It's a like, I'm just tired of the hate. I'm so excited, and just really tired of the hate towards it. Like it hasn't even come out yet. Like you're judging the whole movie on a few shots or something.
There's some pretty great things in here. I mean, people were going to die.
That's my favorite line.
He's emotional. He's human. He's a really good guy. I mean, a lot of hero stuff, you know, like a lot of action. Like,
I mean, it's reminding me the whole, stopping the war thing. That's from one of my favorite graphic novels, Superman Earth 2, or Earth 1, Volume 2. I mean, that's right out of that. I mean,
I was telling Jania about that. I was like, oh, because I was like, it's one of my favorite scenes in that book.
Yeah.
It also, like her talking to him and all that, also reminds me. Have you guys ever read Peace on Earth? The Paul Dini, like oversized book. If you ever get a chance, you should read it, because in that, like, Superman goes to like stop like hunger and do all these things, and like he just keeps getting like shot down. Like everyone finds a way around it every time he tries to help do things. And I really, something I got from this trailer is I got a sense that this might be where he shifts from the American way kind of thing, like the idea that people have about like Superman's like American way, to being like, I am the protector of the world. Like I am a citizen of the world.
Absolutely. That does come with the reference at the beginning, you know.
Truth, justice, and a better tomorrow.
Yeah.
Who you represent, your representation.
And like she's like, you went and did, and you entered a country illegally. And he's just like, I acted as myself for doing good.
Yeah.
That also reminded me of For Tomorrow, where Superman enters every country and destroys every gun in the world at one point in that comic.
Yep.
And he says he does it because he's doing it for the world. So I think one of the things that I really liked from this is, like we've talked about a few times before, is all the references people have been making to All-Star Superman, and that being like, oh, this is totally just going to be completely inspired by All-Star. This definitely was like, okay, he's drawing from a lot more sources than just All-Star Superman.
It even reminds me of like where we just watched Superman versus the Elite, where he's having the conversations about people's like thoughts on him and what he stands for. And I think, as much as we've talked about the Tyler Hoechlin Superman feeling like a really good kind of mix, like a greatest hits kind of thing, where they put all the ingredients from the others and made it together, I think this is like they're taking the same, they've blended all these different elements, not only from the comics, but from, what do you call it? Just all Superman's like media and stories. Like you can see little references. Like somebody pointed out online that it looks like Luthor has a Shark Tank in his office, like the animated series. We see, like, I'm very curious. Like,
it looked like it in other shots of like his office. Like it was like his office is in the span between two buildings, or two towers of his building, and his office is up there in that span.
I think there's a lot of great little things too to catch in the trailer, like a Metamorpho with his hand. You can see it glowing at one point green, so kryptonite.
Like
that's
kryptonite.
How he's speaking it. Yeah.
And I wondered if Metamorpho, like I thought, like, what if he's a prisoner in there and they use him to like help bring down Superman, but then Superman just talks him into like helping him and basically befriends Metamorpho and sets him free. Because if you look, he's not interacting with the Justice Gang.
Yeah.
And I wonder who else is in that prison. Because there is someone else in there. I just can't tell who. We see Lex calls Superman an it.
Yeah, he says he's not a man. He's an it.
Do we think the kaiju is going to come maybe from the fortress?
I don't, and I think that because I think it's the McFarlane for Lex at one point. One of the leaked lists said it came with a mini kaiju. So I still think it has something to do with Lex.
Well, I think Lex might free it. And him and the engineer bust into the fortress, and we see the engineer like tearing up the robots, which explains the other shot when Superman shows up and the robot's cut in half and he's like holding it.
Yeah. I made that connection pretty quick. And that shape changing metal that the engineer is made of, shifting from hands to saw blades and throwing stuff, and like that same looking stuff crawling across the field going after Superman.
Yeah, so the shot, like, we still did get more Ultraman, quote unquote. But there's a shot at the baseball stadium when he's fighting the engineer that you see Mr. Terrific on the ground. Mr. Terrific is on the ground.
I did notice the scene, the close up of the Justice Gang looking like they're flying, and Mr. Terrific's in like a flying chair kind of thing, kind of flying frame seat that he's sitting on.
What's crazy to me is we don't have any, like, Jim. There's a shot of Jimmy in this, and it's blinking. You miss it. You might not even know it's Jimmy.
Yeah, it's that one scene in the Daily Planet. Clark's in that familiar outfit we've seen him in.
Yeah, and it looks like also just from the stuff we see in the trailer, like, Lois and Mr. Terrific might go on their own little like side quest.
I wonder if that'll be when it seems that Lex has captured Superman. I wonder if they're hunting for him.
Because it seems like Superman's interacting with, Mr. Terrific more. And I wonder, okay, because we talked about one in this trailer, okay, we see that Lois has a Lord Tech recorder. And then in the Peacemaker trailer, you see Guy Gardner and Hawk Girl with Maxwell Lord, but not Mr. Terrific. And then in this trailer, we see Mr. Terrific more around Superman and with Lois than with Hawk Girl and Guy Gardner. So I'm just making parallels, making things here.
I'm still getting used to seeing Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner, because
it's so weird.
10 or 15 years ago, he would have been a great Hal Jordan.
But
he was the fan cast for years.
But he's still the voice in the DC animated universe. After Justice League War, they switched to Nathan Fillion for the rest of them as Green Lantern, as Hal Jordan. And wasn't he even the voice in Justice League Doomed?
He was.
Yep.
So I think about that.
Yeah, he was the voice. He's been the longtime fan cast. Captain Malcolm Reynolds. He was perfect for Hal Jordan for a long time. He is a really funny guy though too, and he's worked with James Gunn a lot, and he really likes to stretch his comedy working with James Gunn. Way back with Slither,
Yep. The Chinese people.
It's just wild to me that Guy Gardner is going to be the one who appears in three things before anyone else. So
yeah, right. He's gonna be in so many things, and I like the scene in this where he's walking across the field and he just swipes his hand, and a big old hand, big green hand, just flicks people away.
It feels very Guy Gardner, which is great, and it circles back to like the overall thing. Like this whole thing feels like a comic book movie. Like it
In the
feels,
best way.
yeah, like it feels like, okay, I could see this in a graphic novel. Like this all seems visually, at least, seems to fit.
It's like that. It's that where it takes the material seriously, but yet brings all the world to life. You know, where Man of Steel and like The Dark Knight stripped it down to being very realistic and making the world not feel as much like their worlds. This is making the whole world feel like it is in the comics, but also taking it seriously and not trying to
Sure.
dump, you know.
You know, a scene that I really like in this trailer is the scene with Jonathan and him, which had, you know, I think a lot of people have misconstrued as, you know, like a tragic scene and everything. And from the appearance of it, it looks like more of an uplifting scene, just emotional. And you know, speculation about the parents, you know, maybe one of them dying, maybe it even being Martha, which I'm glad that's not the case. We get to see her in the trailer,
But we
telling
don't.
him that I cleaned your boots and I'll go get them for you.
But she says it with such an accent. I cleaned your boot.
Oh yeah, big time.
I cleaned your boots. I'll go get them for you. Okay, I was checking. There is that same shot when she says, "I'll go get them for you." The camera spins, and Jonathan's in the background. So, because I was like looking like, okay, they're in the same shot together. So it's
Mhm.
not like, you know, so it's not like a flashback of him talking to his dad.
We did get to see like a home video of young Clark running up to his dad, though. Seeing a younger Jonathan picking up the young Clark, which was really cool.
And I mean, Nicholas Holt as Lex. Have you guys watched The Great?
Oh yeah.
You know, like I think he's going to be amazing. Just no,
He's got great
I-
range. I think he's gonna nail this. He's still a little unconventional for Lex, but I think he'll
I
nail
think
it.
you need somebody to be unconventional. Like I think he can play the straight up business role and like public facing persona, just being like this very straight laced, very intelligent businessman, but then also like all the stuff he's going to be doing that we see him doing in this, he is going to be full of himself and you know, I mean, he's pretty evil already in this trailer.
So what do we think this big like robot suit thing is? Like we've seen it called like the Hammer or something by the toys. Like the
Hammer
Chinese-
of Barovia. I
yeah,
think is what
like
it is.
so I'm just curious, like
I
so
think
we-
it's just going to be another villain within the movie. I don't think it's a primary, you know, like the kaiju. Like, you know, we've got the engineer as kind of a primary, Lex as a primary, and you know the man in black still.
the
Yeah,
Ultraman.
I think the Hammer of Barovia will be the consequences of him interfering in another country. Because I'm guessing it's that.
Could be.
That makes sense.
Like
Um,
the government there responding by sending their version of a superhero after him.
I mean, I don't mind like you know we see Superman getting beat like down and everything because to me it shows that he's working and but no matter how much he gets beat, like he gets back up and keeps persevering against whoever he fights. Because I mean, look, we see him get knocked down from the hammer. We see him fighting the kaiju. We see him get in jail. We see him get tackled by we're just going to call him Ultraman for now. You know, while fighting the engineer.
I think it's also a real possibility that this Superman's more on the power level of like the animated series Superman, or like an early.
I think he could. I think giving him like a little bit less to start out with gives you somewhere to grow.
Yeah.
As well as Superman in a lot of versions, and primarily, what we grew up with being Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, Superman put himself out front to take all of the hits.
Yeah.
So that others didn't have to, because he could take them. And so we probably see that, especially in a Superman, couple of years in. Who knows? Like, does he make does he make any mistakes? What kind of Superman? Because there's always consequences. That kind of gives us our perpetual second act. There's always something that happens because of what you did.
I mean, there's no good deed goes unpunished, right?
Mm-hmm.
But here's something interesting. We still haven't got footage of Perry White. We haven't seen Otis. We haven't seen Kat, Ron, or Steve, other than that one shot that we got back in the teaser for the teaser of them standing around behind Lois. And the Jimmy shot in this, like I said, it's so small that I didn't realize it was Jimmy at first. So if we do get another trailer, I would like something that shows the Daily Planet people, and a little bit more Clark Kent.
Well, when it comes to it, with this trailer, we get to see and experience. We get to actually hear from people in this trailer. We get a lot of people are talking, but we still don't get a full sense of the story.
Levi,
where anything fits in.
Levi, tell him the plot that someone online said, "Oh, I figured out the plot of this." Please.
Yeah. So his analysis was Superman is new at being Superman and is interfering in other countries, and that Lex doesn't like Superman, so he's working with the government to capture him, which is the plot of just about every Lex and Superman story that you can imagine in the last 20 years. So we've got some brilliant analysis out there on the internet right now. Guy made like a 5-minute video on a 3-minute trailer to deduct that out.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
But no, I mean, we don't like. I kind of think I kind of get a sense of where things might take place, but at the same time, I don't know, and I like that. I like not really knowing or getting a sense.
Yeah, I mean, I expect the war stuff to happen pretty early on, and be kind of a catalyst for some stuff.
I told Levi I kind of wonder if that scene in the other trailer where we see Clark in the Daily Planet and he like turns around and looks like at the TV, if there's something like live news footage of blah blah blah, these people are fighting, and that's when he like takes off to go stop the war.
He's going to see live footage of that kid raising up the Superman flag, and that's going to be what gets him there. I don't think we've seen a single frame from the third act, though, because we still have the giant floating eye in the sky from the teaser photo.
Yeah, and it's in here, later on, I think the war at the beginning, then like your middle is your big brawl, maybe with I don't really want the kaiju to be the third act, I'll be honest.
I think that's second act.
So.
I think all the stuff you see with the Justice Gang and the kaiju, I think that's all the second act. I think that's all from the same interaction.
I do too. I'm just trying to think, like, where do I think he gets the beat down? I think from fighting.
I mean, the field could be where he gets the beat down before he has to be recovered at the fortress.
Exactly.
And then maybe after that is when Lex and the engineer show up. But that's
Yeah, I mean, see, look, we're not even able to piece it together. I mean, I just feel like it's there,
It
and we
could
haven't
fit that way. It could fit that way. Who knows?
even touched on the fact that like we got like one good shot of Rick Flag Sr.
Yeah.
Uh,
Which I think they call him Secretary of Defense. So,
yeah, no, I mean the Secretary of Defense, yeah, but he works
then,
for the Secretary of Defense because he's supposed to take over.
Yeah, we saw that
he
he
takes
took
over Argus.
Argus. Yeah, he takes over Argus from Amanda.
So, and
which
that
we
I
saw
get
on the Peacemaker trailer.
right, and I'm wondering if we get that in this, or like that's how Peacemaker kicks off because this is Peacemaker supposed to be like right after this. So we'll see, but I'm feeling good about this trailer, guys. Like I said,
Oh yeah,
it feels like such a good blend of everything I love about this character.
we could see him as the head of Argus in this before we see him as the head of Argus in Peacemaker in August.
That's why I'm wondering if he maybe gets appointed like head of Argus in this, and like we see like a snippet of Waller or something.
Yeah, wonder if we're gonna see any of his recovery or mention of it.
It would be awesome if they did, just to bring in that little bit of continuity.
Basically, we left him in traction.
But like I said, there's still like in this we don't see anything with Maxwell Lord. Characters we don't see of. So we only see that one shot of Eve Tessmacher doing the selfie. Have you guys been listening to the DC Showcase podcast? It's on HBO Max, and it's on like podcast feeds. I've been listening to the interviews. They've been doing episodes of their interviews. The first one was crap. It was Cat Grant and Lombard. The last one was Metamorpho and Eve Tessmacher and everything. So they're doing these interviews like each week, and it's just neat because she said that Tessmacher and Lex are a couple in this. Like he's actually her boyfriend. So I think it's interesting.
Huh. I mean, changing up the dynamic. It's not a negative. It's not a bad thing.
The big thing here is we already know that Lois knows his secret, so we don't have to worry about that. We're already past that. So it's good stuff.
That's good. Yeah.
Now, the music in this trailer is really well done. They released the trailer as an individual track that you can go and download. And as a track, it's kind of weird. Like, just go, if you listen to it alone, the way it flows and everything is odd. But when you watch it in the context of the trailer, it makes complete sense. Like, you feel where it's like a trailer track. And not like an actual, like, song. Because there's a couple odd music cues. But I'm hyped, guys.
I'm excited. It's got me sold. I mean, I was sold before, but a lot of the assumptions that I feel like we were making about it, I feel like this further confirmed how we were feeling.
Right.
So,
I mean, you weren't keeping me out of the theater to go see it no matter what. So I was gonna be there, but I'm happy with what I'm seeing, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I think we get a lot of good things from this trailer and a lot of interesting ideas to run with. So
yeah, we're still guessing. We don't know everything. It looks beautiful. Some people are complaining about the cinematography. Some of the shots have this almost like if this is a flat image that's slightly bent. Kind of
yeah.
Not
like
a full fisheye. Not a full fisheye, but just slightly like
and it always tends to seem when he's flying, I have a feeling like that's like a visual distortion for maybe his speed or something.
Same. That's what I was going to say.
It's also on the way that it's shot, where he has his arm out and he's in the fire in the war scene, it's there, and it's kind of similar. Just certain shots, like the way the camera.
Well, the
moves out.
ones that I've noticed it mostly on were flying scenes from all the bits that we've gotten so far.
You know, the one thing they did film this at one of those new. Oh, my mind blanking. Those new stages.
Oh,
What the new stages they built over in Leavesden?
the volume.
Yeah, the volume, like where they film Mandalorian.
Yeah, volume.
Yeah.
Those are tricky. It's a skill to be able to shoot those well. So
Yeah, and I think Gunn's done well with those because he shot Guardians 3 on that, not 2, because it wasn't there yet. And then, I mean, you can kind of see, like, I think the only other DC that was shot there was Black Adam.
the Batman shot on the volume too.
Yeah, but it shot.
I don't know if Black Adam did. I know they shot.
Yeah, it did. Because they shot in Georgia and everything. Because I remember watching the behind the scenes and everything. That's why there's a certain look to that movie. There's one in Georgia, there's one in California, and there's one. There's only like 3 or 4 of them. But I'm hyped, guys. I'm excited. I'm tired of people hating. I told Levi I ordered today, James, because it's on Amazon, the Look Up poster. I ordered it, and it's only $10 compared to where they were selling it for $15 on DC's website. And that broke down. I was like, okay, I'll spend $10 on it because I want to put it in my office.
Nice.
But it'll probably be at Walmart or Five Below eventually, but I'll buy it again for my house. But I just really wanted to put it in my office.
Oh, absolutely. I do not blame you there, man.
But all right, guys, I think we've talked this trailer. I think we're hyped. I mean, we could probably break it down frame by frame, but there's really
I'm
no
hyped.
way to do that. I've watched it like maybe 10 times now because I've had it playing as we're talking.
I've watched it at least 2 more times since we've been talking. So,
just rating the trailer, guys, out of 10, where you stand
on hype level or just the trailer itself.
Okay, on hype level, I'm a 10. Trailer itself, I think it's a 9.
I'd say hype is a 10. I'd go 8 on the trailer.
James?
10 and 8.5.
I knew.
Split the difference.
Yep. All right, guys, let's get out of here. But leave us your comments. Let us know what you think of the trailer. And no hate, okay? You know, I don't own this character. I love the character. I got no skin in the game. You know, I can't control what happens. They're not disrespecting or dishonoring the character. So just might as well be excited and enjoy it, you know?
Look up in the sky.